Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install a turn lock. A turn lock is a great piece of hardware. I think you're going to love using it. It's easy to install and easy to use, and it makes for a great looking professional finish. So far I've discovered that there are two styles of turn locks. Both are great. There's just the way they install them is a little different. So the first kind that I prefer is a faceplate that has tiny little screws that go in the back that you don't see, and that's how you install the faceplate. That's the front portion that shows on your bag. And then of course the twisting portion, which is just a quarter turn to open and close. And this particular one with the screws has a little washer that you'll insert the prongs through and bend the prongs over, and that goes on the front of the pocket of your bag. The other type of turn lock has prongs for both portions instead of just screws on one and prongs for the other. This is a great option too. It's easy to use. The pronged faceplate gets put in with a washer, so you'll just slip the fabric between the two pieces and then bend the prongs over. Either one is great, and I'm going to show you how to put it in. Okay, so here's a close-up of the different pieces of each style of turn lock. This is the screw-in style. It has the plates that you screw together and the turn portion with the washer. So there's four main pieces, and also the same for the prong style. So this is the washer for the faceplate, and then the washer that goes to the prongs. Both are great, easy to install. They go in the same way, so I'm just going to show you how to put in the screw-in version. Okay, so in addition to having the four pieces of the main turn lock, I suggest a couple scrap pieces of SF101, that's Pellon's Fusible Woven Interfacing, and then a scrap of the Pellon's Peltex. It's a heavy-duty fusible. It's going to be installed between the turn portion and the washer. It's going to give a nice stable base so the turn portion isn't loose and it holds them really well. I also love a chalk pencil, a nice sharp scissors, and of course you'll need something for marking and your pieces that you're going to be installing the lock on. I just have a sample here, but hopefully that'll give you a good idea of where to start. So I'm going to start by marking the position of the pronged piece. So I'm just going to mark the center about 1.5 inches down from the top edge of the pocket that I have. And then I use the washer as a guide. I put my dot over the center of my marking, and if you'll see that you can kind of line up where the prongs are going to go. I just make a couple markings where those are. And then for this, you're going to want to install it between the two layers. You're not going to want to see it behind your pocket at all. So just grab the first layer, and with your sharp scissors, just take a light little snip through the layers. I would err on taking a smaller snip than larger. It can always be pushed open farther. So your prongs go through the front there. Okay, so once the prongs are through, I trim down the Peltex. You only need a tiny piece that's really going to just kind of cushion behind the hardware, the turn portion. And then you'll also mark where the prongs go through. Can't really see it on that, but probably good enough to get a couple good snips in, and then slip that over the prongs. So once that part is on, then you're going to be able to slip the washer over. And for these, I find that bending them in works really well. You can bend them outwards too. I don't know if it really makes a difference. You can try experimenting and let me know. But I just use the end of my scissors and gently push them in. And then after that, the scrap of SF-101, you'll place that over that. So once you have your layers in, then you can press all around from the front portion here and get it fused in place. And that part is all set. So next, you're going to take the portion where you're going to install the faceplate. And for this, I use the backside as a guide. I'm just going to eyeball it here, but you'd want to more carefully measure if there was a placement marking or if you needed to adjust for your particular project that you're working on. But I'm just going to use this chalk pencil and outline inside of the oval and each screw hole. And then with the sharp scissors again, you're going to cut out that hole. I cut on the outside of that line. You can always trim it bigger. And just try and make it nice and smooth. I'm cutting through all layers this time. So once I have that done, then you can make either a little snip here or use a hole punch. Usually like a leather punch would be ideal. So this is a little leather punch that I have. It makes a really small hole and I like to use it for this part. But I just punch it multiple times to get the diameter that I need for that particular marking. So once I have everything set, you can try it as you go. If it doesn't look like it's quite fitting, just take another little wedge out of the hole here. Again, just trimming less rather than more away from the opening. So this is the part where you could either apply some fray check, it's a seam sealant so that there is no fraying, or you could use a little bit of fabric glue to hold all of the things in place. But what you're going to do is just get every bit of the fabric kind of pushed over the opening and screw holes, and then the face plate goes over. And then you'll install the screws in each hole. Okay, so now the screws are installed and the faceplate is secure, and that is all. Your turn lock fits over the turn portion, and to close it, you turn it. To open it, you turn it back. Simple as that. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I think that you're going to really like using your turn lock. I am going to show you how the pronged version, at least for this variety, is a little bit different. So for the bottom portion, this particular style, you'll want to pay attention to how, when it's open or closed, it actually goes against what I feel like I'm used to using, so I thought I'd point it out. But the prong style goes top to bottom. Normally I would think it would be top side to side, but from when I use it as an oval that's wider than it is tall, you want the prongs to be up and down, so you'll install it like that with the this little guy behind him. And then for the faceplate, it's the same. You're going to mark the placement holes where the prongs are going to be. And then I usually just use a seam ripper and make little holes to start with, and then the washer goes behind and you bend the prongs over. So that's all. I think that you're gonna love it, and let me know if you have any questions, and that's all.